Greetings brothers and sisters, Cesar, who is about to recap the Shinobi game series, salutes you. Welcome to Gameology. Shinobi. Holy crack binge, Joe. I love this series, and it pains me that Shinobi, just like Sonic and the other Sega flagship IPs, are no longer relevant nowadays. One of my childhood gaming pillars, alongside Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat and Tenchu, Shinobi is a beaten path to Imagination Land. So it was developed by Sega back in 1987. First title made its debut on the arcade. Its growing popularity made it one of Sega's flagship titles and found its way on the home consoles. If you were a denizen of the arcade back in the 90s, it was impossible not to stumble on this game and its one-shot bullshit. So the protagonist's name is Joe Musashi, a ham-fisted attempt to merge the Western archetypal hero with the name of the iconic Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. Also, it's worth remembering that back in the day, the American Ninja movies, who debuted in '85, were fast growing in popularity, and that Michael Dudikoff characters is also named Joe, Private Joe Armstrong. Just like in American Ninja, the timeline in Shinobi is set during modern times, fighting against terrorists, kidnappers, paramilitary bombers and what have it. So yeah, armed with this knowledge, we can safely establish that Joe is synonymous with ninja. Is this a nod to the American Ninja series? Well, let's hear what Ninja Master Splinter has to say about this.
Ah yes, love is never easy.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei. That was insightful. Now, the word shinobi in Japanese describes a thief, a spy, or an infiltrator. The term dates since the 8th century. This is the guy that everyone wants to play as in every medieval fantasy ever. Fuck off, Akali! Get the fuck off my shinobi train! Jesus! Now, the concept of a stealthy infiltrator can come at odds with the game's protagonist, who knives dudes in the face in broad daylight, causing explosions and all sorts of mayhem. Keep in mind that we're talking about 1987. The technology didn't allow for much in the way of what we recognize nowadays as stealth gameplay. Even though the first Metal Gear was launched on SNES the very same year. Also bear in mind that the stealth gameplay wasn't exactly considered the pinnacle of video games fun, and that even in Japan, the ninja was associated with the cool-ass dude throwing sharp metal objects at people. Not to mention what the West thought about ninjas. Anyway, we have our protagonist, Joe Musashi, armed with an endless supply of shurikens. We all know what shurikens are, right? Right?
The time has come for your final lesson, Shuriken.
So Joe is squaring against the evil paramilitary corporation named Zed, who are kidnapping ninja kids? What? Fuck me, that's evil. So they kidnap shinobi kids and generally be a dick about everything. Shinobi featured a lot of novel gameplay features to the already established platformer genre. Things like multi-layered levels, and that an AI that turned around to chase the player. You had your endless supply of shurikens, kunai, whatever they're called, and the protagonist would deliver a devastating sword attack in close proximity. Rescuing a certain hostage in each level power-ups your shurikens, effectively transforming them into explosive bullets, and your melee attack in a katana attack. And if everything else fails, once per life you can call upon a ninjutsu power that KOs everyone in your screen. So one key feature was that if you bumped into an enemy, instead of losing HP or dying, you would shove the enemy in the opposite direction, stunning them for a second. Most of the pro strategies involve getting the literal drop on the thug so you can deal with the other threat swiftly. Yeah, this shit was cutting edge back then. Superb graphics, decent animations, very tight controls, and balls to the walls difficulty made this into a smashing success. So in this first Shinobi title, Joe squared against terrorists, destroyed helicopters, military bases, found the ninja camp and defeated the leader, the masked ninja. His identity is revealed to be Nakahara, Joe's mentor and apparently Joe's father. I bet you learned this here. If not, please write in the comment section, cause only 5 people managed to finish this fucking game. And that's a fact. This game is hard as Vladimir Putin. Oh, and there's a guy who looks suspiciously like Spider-Man. Well, there was also a mini game where you can quench your ninja killing thirst. As, well, let's face it, there is little in the way of ninja killing in this game. The ninjas will run from left to right and jump lanes to get to you. Perform well enough and you can earn an extra life. Shinobi was ported on all the relevant game platforms like Commodore 64, Amiga, Atari, Amstrad, Spectrum, or even the Sega Master System. It was a fucking giant. So, what happened next? Sega thought long and hard on how to usher the game into the next generation, so they rebranded into Shadow Dancer and gave the protagonist a dog. Holy fuckchucks! Shadow Dancer was released 2 years later in the arcades. Look at this thing. I mean, look at this fucking thing. Oh god. I saw this in the arcades as a kid. I was 10 years old and I lost my shit. That's how I started doodling. I drew this guy over and over. Wrote the phonetics for his badass ninja's conjuring words. Ninja magic was real and it was in my mouth. It tasted delicious. Shadow Dancer featured Joe Musashi's son Hayate, and it is set 20 years later after the terrorist bitches Asian Down. I'm not making this shit up, that's what they're named. So Asian Down terrorists, who we earlier established that lost no sleep over using innocent civilians.
Capture the vigilantes however you can. Use innocent people as bait. No one will stop us in our quest to reclaim victory.
Decided that explosives make much more for a deterrent and planted bombs throughout Miami. They also killed Kato, Hayate's best fuck buddy, or so I established in my Shadow Dance fanfic. Yeah. So Hayate, together with the most badass ninja dog in history, is up in this bitch, dismantling bombs, killing terrorists left and right, blowing up an ancient robot samurai, and kill the mad bitch who started this all before she can hijack a nuclear weaponized space shuttle. Fuck! Fuck that bitch! Couldn't beat her. I just couldn't beat her back. Couldn't beat her back then. I'm sorry, Miami. I'm so sorry. As the game was localized for US and Europe, Hayate was changed back to Joe Musashi because... fuck. As you can see, Sega changed the look of the protagonist, and this white ninja with red stripes stuck. I mean, this look was carried over in the next iterations and became the staple look for the Shinobi protagonist. The gameplay remained the same, but the realization was through the roof. Also, if the dog barked to an enemy by holding crouch and attacking, you could sick the dog on someone, effectively paralyzing him for a while. Unless it was this fucker. Or this one. Well, anyway, it worked in most cases. Instead of kids, you now dismantle bombs. If you dismantle a couple of bombs, you get a power-up, and your shuriken is lit on fire. Even the minigame was brought back, but this time in a more vertical setting, and it all better throughout. I love their mask, man. Those are Hanya masks. No theater.
Yoshimitsu. Shikitokusek.
Apart from the tweaks to the gameplay, the game looked and sounded gorgeous. I mean, look at this. Look at it. Actually, no. Listen to it. Highly polished and immersive. And just like the previous Shinobi, it had a relentless difficulty, as again you would die from one hit and no way to defend yourself except ducking or trying to switch lanes. And when you're dead, you restart the freaking level. Yeah. The Sega Mega Drive or Genesis version of Shadow Dancer, named The Secret of Shinobi, came out in 1990. And it is quite a different game. It's not just a quick port or a downscale of the game. Although the game mainly remained the same in terms of gameplay and controls, the environments, enemies and art changed completely. Even the minigame was different. Even the freaking story was different. Now in the minigame you fell off a building and shot ninjas on your way down. Wait, what? Shadow Dancer was just as crazy popular and was scaled up and sideways to fit on all possible game platforms. I'm not going to list them here as it will take a whole while, but if it had a screen and a button, it played Shadow Dancer. All versions of the game, be it 8-bit or 16-bit, and the arcade versions were highly praised.